So our fall garden is doing pretty good this year. We've been harvesting some stuff, and some stuff we're still waiting on to get ready. Since our last video when we planted this plot, we planted some more stuff in here, added some things. We've also harvested some things, and today we're ready to plant some new things as well. So we've got our red cabbage here that we planted. It's starting to form heads. Here's our broccoli. We've been harvesting it. About half of it's been harvested so far. Here's some more broccoli that we planted right here on both sides of this cauliflower. So we succession plant the broccoli so we can have broccoli all throughout the fall and winter. We eat a lot of broccoli. We eat it raw, steamed, all kinds of ways. So we really like to have plenty of broccoli. Our cauliflower here takes a little longer. It's just starting to kind of form really tiny heads, so that should be coming along here in the near future. We've got our Swiss chard right here. We've harvested it once. It will come back, so we cut it and then it'll come back and make a second crop, maybe even a third crop. Here we planted some starboard kale. It's just now starting to kind of grow a lot, so that'll be nice to have in the winter. Here's our Toscano kale that we planted. We've been harvesting this. We just kind of crop the bottom leaves as we need it and harvest it and leave the few top leaves, and this stuff will grow through the winter on into next spring. And then our Brussels sprouts here, they're still growing nicely. They haven't started making any Brussels sprouts yet. We do expect that to happen soon. And then we've got another row of red cabbage here on the end. Now this empty spot right here is where we had our bok choy that we planted in the first video. And today I want to show you how we reuse drip tape in our fall garden. How we pull up the drip tape, clean up the area, put it back down, and use the same drip tape to plant something else in the fall garden so we can keep food producing and growing year round. So right here's our drip line that we had running on our bok choy, and we can see it's buried. We put it underneath the ground like we do with everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this hooked up here, and I'm going to pull this drip line back this way so I can cultivate this area, and then I'll lay the drip line back down when I plant. All right, so we've got this little strip here cultivated, got those weeds cleaned out of there. Now we want to lay our drip back down. And we're going to use our FAD system that we always talk about, which stands for furrow, amend, and then drip. So we're going to create a furrow with our plow set here, and then we're going to amend that furrow. We're going to put compost in there, and then we're going to put our drip down. All right, so we've got our furrow in, we've got it amended with compost. Now we're just going to pull this drip line back over that amended spot with the emitters facing upward. Because we still have it anchored here to the main line, via that connection there, it makes it really easy to pull this out and get it taut and straight. Alright, so one thing I am going to do here, because where I had this bok choy row, I want my lettuce row to be over this way about 5 or 6 inches. So I'm going to plug this hole in the main line and scoot this drip tape row star over this way a little bit so it's more straight. So I just take my hole punch here. I'm going to punch me a new hole right there. I'm going to pull out this row start. I'm going to put it right here in the new hole. Okay, and then these things here are called goof plugs. You get a set of 10 of these with all of our drip tape kits, and you use these to plug up holes in the main line so you can recycle, reuse your main line and don't have to put all new main line out if you're removing the row spacing. So we just take this goof plug and stick it in the main line like that, and it plugs that hole for us. Alright, so I got my drip line where I want it. Now to cover this, normally I would take the double wheel hoe and I would move the plows into the heeling position, and I would straddle this line and cover it right up. But just since I'm just doing one line today for the sake of time, I'm just going to take this rake and cover it up real quick. Okay, so we've got our drip tape covered here. Now we'll just wait for the water to seep out of these emitters a little bit, and these wet spots here will provide indicators on where we put our lettuce plants. All right, so we can see the water spots coming up through the dirt, so we know how our spacing is. I've got these lettuce plants here left over from a few weeks ago. I'll go ahead and get these in the ground so we don't waste them. I like to plant my lettuce really close on 6-inch spacing. So what I'll do is I'll go along and put a plant on top of every emitter, and then I'll come along and put a plant in between every one of those plants, which will give me a 6-inch spacing. Alright, so we got our lettuce planted. We alternated red and green to kind of give it a little festive look for the holiday season. Now, even though these are planted on 6-inch spacing and our emitters are on 12-inch spacing, those drip emitters put out plenty of water, so they'll cover those gaps. So we don't have to worry about some being watered more than others. So that drip tape will keep it really good and happy. We'll probably inject some fertilizer into there in the next week or two. So there you have it. That shows you just how easy it is to pull up drip tape, clean up the area, put it back down, and keep something planted in your garden year round so you can have clean food all the time.